Everything's in this box. Look at that. Brand new Yeti SB160. I wonder who this belongs to. Don't worry, I'll recycle that. That's strange looking. Derailleur hanger. What do you do with that? Buckle up. Step 1. Seat post. Goes in frame. The next thing I'm going to do is get rid of this contraption. Because where we're going, we don't need this. Don't worry, I'll recycle that too. Okay, so this is Yeti's new SB160. 160 millimeters of travel out back. I'm going to run a RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate Air on here. I'm going to pair it with a 180 Zeb. Spec is 170. I always seem to bump up my fork travel with the Yetis. I always have for many years now. They call it lunch ride. I was lunch ride before there was lunch ride. I just like a longer fork because I suck at bikes and I need more travel. Firstly, I'll tell you that I built my 140 in November. Yes, I'm super spoiled. I have lots of Yetis. The dentists are envious of my quiver. But yeah, fortunate to ride for Yeti. Unbelievably impressed with its capabilities. This is pretty much the best all-around trail bike Yeti's made. Yeah, rides great with the 160 Lyric. It's super quiet. It's efficient enough, but yeah, it's interesting. Like, this was so much like a long travel 130 that I've been riding for years, but the carbon layup, it just has a different feel. Everything's damp and quiet, and man, it's just a pleasure to ride. I've really been stoked on this. I've got about 1,000 miles on it now, and it's absolutely a weapon. I'm stoked to build up a longer travel bike for bigger huck applications. And with all the same technology that Yeti's implemented in their new frames. All the cable captures, all the cable management is super dialed. Everything is quiet. They've really improved all the noise damping. Nice big skid plate underneath here that's actually replaceable if you should smash a bunch of rocks with it. All the pivots are axle collet bearing situations. They use standard bearings. The axle goes through and it basically keeps everything moving smoothly in the right direction. It adds to the frame's stiffness and lets it move through its travel more efficiently. All of the new Yeti generations have threaded bottom brackets. The internet seems to like that. The differences between 140 and 160. This is going to be like my park bike, my huck bike, steeper terrain. The head angle on this is going to be just a little bit under 64 with a 180 fork. Whereas my 140 is about 65 with a 160 fork. For certain things, I like to have a little bit of extra cushion for the pushing because I'm old and I don't want to get hurt all the time. I've had this frame for a while and I've been waiting to build it because SRAM has come with a new drivetrain offering. And it's specific to UDH. I've been patiently waiting to build this thing so I can show you this fancy new drivetrain. Don't actually know how it works, but I'm gonna do my best. This goes here, apparently. Measure twice, cut once. Putting a 40mm stem on this bike. I'm gonna go with a Truvative Atmos bar made out of aluminum. This is a 9x5 with a 20mm rise, 760 width. I'll run them full length for my pleasure. Yay, threaded bottom bracket. I don't actually have the tool for this. Ugh. Pretty sure that's perfect. Always use the right tool for the right job. This is where things start to get very different. For my drivetrain on this bike, I will be running the new Eagle transmission. SRAM has created this to be the most robust, durable drivetrain that they've made to date. I saw this in the SRAM video that they sent for the setup, and I figured I'd give it a try. Doesn't seem very durable. It directly mounts into the UDH pole directly onto the frame and omits the need for a derailleur hanger. You can shift it under load, you can completely shift like a jerk. Apparently what they're saying is the harder you pedal, the better this thing actually shifts. So I'm excited to try this. Really useful like in e-bike applications where the motor is basically trying to break your drivetrain off your bike every time you pedal. This is a sweet solution for that sort of thing and will be much appreciated when you're mashing gears going up some stupid climb in the middle of nowhere on your enduro bike. They've actually made skid plates on here, they're calling them, and this stuff is replaceable because when you ride you basically hit rocks and smash things and whatever, and this stuff gets beat. And if you look at this derailleur, which I used for 6 months and is mechanically functioning perfectly, it looks like it's been to a war, which it has, but now you can actually replace some of the parts that just get knackered from everyday riding. So good on SRAM for not wanting to make you throw that $1,000 derailleur in the trash. I mean, it's purely aesthetic, but would you rather your bike look like this or your bike look like this? Ding. It's super easy to set up. There's no adjustment screws, there's no limit screws, there's no beat tension, there's nothing to turn on there. This derailleur knows where to go and you don't have to set anything up. It's foolproof.
Or use the T-type chain sizing tool included with the chain printed manual.
Basically this new cassette, there's a red cog. You put your chain that's cut to the specific length for your bike onto the red cog.
Use an approved chain breaker tool to break the chain at the inner link.
Put this on here, put the chain on, put it on that cog, and supposedly it's going to set itself up on its own, which gives me more time for, ouch, cocktails. Oh yeah. Got a little bit of oaky, a little bit of vanilla perhaps in there. One of these things, you don't need that anymore. It just knows what to do. I don't know how it knows. It's smarter than I am. Way smarter than I am.
And route through the derailleur pulleys with the flat edge of the chain facing away from the...
Will I have more time for cocktails, or will I have to spend time faffing and setting this up? The new Eagle transmission operates around the rear axle. It's a hangerless interface. Everything works around the constant on every bike, which is the center of the rear axle. So it's pretty genius if you ask me. Lube your shit. Look at the technology that goes into that. It's ridiculous. It's pretty sweet. Transmission has what they're calling cassette mapping. I don't even know how to explain it. It's so much smarter than I am, but this thing knows how fast to shift incrementally depending on what gear you're in. You can basically pedal and shift under load as hard as you want, and the derailleur knows exactly what to do, and everything is smooth and buttery. I can't even understand it with my small human brain. You have options for your bash guard interface. You can these are removable. You can take them on, take them off. I'm actually going to run this with a MRP chain guide that's been custom collaborated with SRAM on to clear this bash guard, so it'll give me a little bit of top mount protection, but when I'm smashing things, this will be my bash guard instead of what I've always run off of the ISCG tabs as a bottom bash guard. Something like that guy is what this kind of replaces. Now I can continue to ride like a complete jerk, and I won't hit anything on my chainring, even though I always run a chain guide anyway. Yes, this chainring is too small for me. That's all I had in stock, but we're gonna rectify that situation once there's some bigger rings. Look at this cute little guy. He's so cute. Since I didn't use a torque wrench on my bottom bracket because I don't have the right tool, I'm gonna make sure I use one on my crank. This chain is kind of unique. It's got a flat top. Looks different than everything else. So to lock the power link, one of those. The chain is cut to the right length, as it will tell you in the Axis app, according to your chainstay length and the size of your chainring. The red cog right here is where you put your chain for the initial setup. You basically pull back and maintain tension on the derailleur as you do this, and then you're going to tighten this to 35 Newton meters. Use your torque wrench kitties. It's important. And then you're going to tighten your axle. You're supposed to use a torque wrench on that too, but that's about right. So there's no limit screws, there's no B tension. Apparently, transmission just knows what to do. Let's see if it works. How does it know? You're so much smarter than me. Why? It's just perfectly. Normally this is the part of the video where I'm like adjusting limit screws and using my stupid B tension tool, doing this and like trying to figure it out, but bye. It just knows. And just like the other Axis derailleurs, you can do this and it goes back to where it was. So durable. Just like Eagle is going to be operated with Axis, and they have these new pods that are supposed to be more ergonomic, a couple different button choices, a couple different mounting clamp choices to be compatible with everything. But yeah, it's all custom fine-tunable in the Axis app. You can go in and you can make this activate your dropper post, you can make this downshift your derailleur, you can put the wherever you want on the left side. You can kind of do whatever and make any button operate anything that you want. So you can customize your ride. I will be running Zip 3.0 motor wheels on this bike, like I do all of my bikes. I've been super stoked on this product. I've been running them since their inception in 2019 and just have nothing but good things to say about them. Super durable. Spokes stay tight, I ride like a jerk, and they stay intact underneath me, so that's a good thing. These have the ankle compliance is the theory here, so when you hit a impact, the rim can move a little bit side to side, keeps you basically from pinch flatting. Kind of same theory as running an insert, but without the insert. A little bit of compliance. They don't feel soft and waggy, but they give you a little, and they really have a unique feel on off cambers, and when you hit things, you don't really deflect, you kind of stick to it. So yeah, they've got a cool ride feel. Big fan of these for several years now on all the bikes. Yeah, love them. No sense in messing around with brakes here. I'm going to run a 220 rotor and a 200 out back. This is SRAM's new HS2 rotor. Been running these for, I don't know, 6 months, and they have a really good feel that translates to the lever. This is a new code designed with some improved aesthetics. It's functionally the same as the old codes, which I've relied on for a bunch of years on all the bikes. The one difference is the lever is carbon now. Used to be metallic. Pretty cool, updated kind of look to go with the Eagle transmission. This Axis pod controller is super handy. It's got this bridge, they're calling it, to you can basically slide this back and forth. You can go up and down. You can rotate this. Ton of options to customize however you want to hold this thing, however it works best for your hand. My go-to grips lately for all of my bicycles have been the Ergon GFR1. Nice, comfortable grip. Got these little ribs underneath that you can hang on to while you're riding. And yeah, they feel good in the hands. This is the factory, little bit softer rubber. slim profile, like my grip's thin. And yeah, this goes here. And I'll run the same saddle that I've been running for a bunch of years now. This is an Ergon SM. This is an Enduro comp saddle. Just super durable, super comfortable, and that goes there. The routing on this frame is super easy with the new little captures for the cables. Nothing's gonna make noise when you're riding. Pretty sweet. Yeti's made this little widget right here. Keep all the frame rub down. And just open that. What we have here is a pretzel. Oh no. Yoink. Look at that. Everything's nice and tidy. Forget to grease your axle. Greasy. Butter on everything, especially toast. Bad jokes. Lubrication. She's looking pretty good. I usually like to run 69 pounds in my Zeb, which is more than the recommended pressure for my body weight, but it feels better to me that way for some reason. Yeah, nice. As far as the rear suspension goes, this is a Super Deluxe Ultimate Air Shock. I'm going to start a little bit below my body weight, looking for about 33% sag when I set this thing up. This thing has a climbing lockout switch in theory. I'd probably only lock it when I'm on pavement, but yeah, this bike climbs great, I'm sure it will. And I usually run the suspension open in that regard. This also has high speed and low speed separate circuits on here, so you can adjust those as well. I tried to get 420 into here, but I think that's above spec. I think that about does it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns that I didn't address. Probably lots of things. Big thanks to Yeti. Big thanks to SRAM, RockShock, all my partners for making this possible. If you want to purchase anything for your bicycle, I recommend you go see my friends over at Worldwide Cyclery. I'll put a link somewhere, logo, something. Yeah, they know what's going on. They have lots of parts in stock, and if you're going to support a bike shop, those are your dudes. Thanks for watching fresh episodes of FollowCamFriday, where I'll be riding this bike soon, every Friday, 10 a.m. Tune in for shenanigans and bike smashing. Yeah, I'm really excited to give this thing a proper thrashing in some rad terrain. So, yep, like the smash button. Thanks for watching. Go ride your bike, drink tequila. I'm going to take a moment to do a tequila tasting. So I came home from skiing the other day, and there was a box on my porch, and I had no idea this was coming. A giant box of tequila showed up. People know me too well, maybe? Maybe I'm too predictable on the internet? I don't know what it is, but it's like this company knew that I was doing a bike build, so good timing to Teflon for sending me this trio of tequilas. Little teeny bit of tequila knowledge, which is not much on my end. This tequila is all natural. It's got no additives. I've got this sweet Yeti shot glass, but in the name of tasting, I think I'm going to actually drink it out of a bowl. So this is the Blanco. This is what I would make like a margarita with, perhaps with some lime. I put it in the bowl so I can get some air in there and get the alcohol to evaporate and taste it a little bit better. Just like wine, you might do it with wine, but this is a little less bougie. Yeah, it's super smooth and clean. Yep, that's gonna go great in a margarita later. Next we have this Reposado. So this has been aged in an oak barrel 4 months to 1 year. Give it a little swirl, pinkies out. Got a little bit of oaky, a little bit of vanilla perhaps in there. And then we have the añejo. Now this is going to be aged in oak barrels for anywhere from 1 to 4 years, giving it even more depth and complexity and flavor. As you're watching this video, I'm actually in Mexico. I produced this a couple weeks ago, and before a trip like Mexico, I trained like a cyclist would. And turns out I've been riding a lot, so I got that going, but I've kind of been slacking on the alcohol consumption. And when you go to Mexico and you haven't been drinking, you're gonna have a bad time. So tip for the wise when traveling to Mexico, practice your tequila consumption. Mezcal is encouraged, any agave spirit really. It's almost a little spicier vanilla, got a little cinnamon. Yeah, delicious. I'm gonna cleanse my palate with a little bit of the Blanco again here. These are almost like scotch of whiskey, right? Like a little more complexity, a little more going on for the connoisseur, like a sipping. We're not shooting this like Fireball, we're like sipping this, right? This is delicious tequila. And the Blanco, I will make a cocktail with later. I haven't tasted anything like that.